Hello everyone, and welcome to a brief introduction to Clinical and Developmental Neuropsychology, the Master's course at Bournemouth University. So I'm your Programme Leader for this course, which means that I oversee the running of the course and your academic and pastoral welfare whilst you're with us. And hopefully I'll get to meet you all in person at some point, but for now I'll just give you a brief introduction, and then if you have any questions, do feel free to email me. So first of all, I've got to thank you for your interest in Bournemouth University and in the course in general. So congratulations on a very good choice. Bournemouth University is a really friendly, thriving place to study. We've got such a diverse range of students. Everyone is really friendly, I can testify. I've loved working here in my time here. And we're a growing, thriving community. We've got a great campus, really lovely students, and of course it helps as well that we're in beautiful Bournemouth. So if you like the sea, then this is the place for you. Also on the edge of the New Forest, and apparently it's a little bit warmer here than it is in the rest of the UK, so that is a good thing. So let me give you a little bit of an overview of the Clinical and Developmental Neuropsychology course. So we're a master's unit, so that means that we run over a single year, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a breakdown of what goes on in this year. So we run several taught units that happens throughout the year. Teaching happens on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about those units in a minute. We also do a project, which is a research project that you would carry out with a supervisor, and that runs throughout the whole year, and I'll tell you more about that in a minute as well. And finally, there's an optional placement unit, which is your opportunity to go into an educational or a clinical setting and work with professionals in that field. So again, I'll tell you more about that in a minute. To start with, let me just start by going through the taught units of this course. So neuropsychology, might be worth me defining that at the start. So what we're interested in neuropsychology is the brain basis of emotions, thought and behaviour. And clinical and developmental neuropsychology, the reasoning behind the name is that we look over the whole lifespan. So we start off in childhood, looking at development, and then we move on to looking at how brain development and function can go wrong in later life. So let me walk you through our units. We start off by studying neurodevelopmental disorders. So basically we start by looking at how the brain typically develops, so from even before birth into childhood and then adulthood. We then look at cases where the brain is developing slightly differently. So we look at autism, we look at ADHD, dyslexia, various interesting subjects. And one thing I should mention about this unit and also about the other units is that we have a real mix of people lecturing. So we not only have experts who work within the department on research in these areas, but we also have professionals in the field. So for example, there's an educational psychologist who will come in to tell you more about how you might like to pursue that as a career pathway. So that's neurodevelopmental disorders, and that happens in semester 1, so you can see this little S1 there. We then go on to think about conditions that arise later in life. So for example, as if the brain has been damaged. So this is clinical and cognitive neuropsychology. We look at very interesting things that happen when the brain gets damaged. So for example, the loss of language, which is called aphasia. We look at problems with attention. So for example, when someone loses awareness of part of the world, that's called neglect. We look at strokes and the common effects of strokes, and executive functioning problems, so when people have difficulty organising their behaviour. And this unit is often taught by one of our colleagues, a consultant neuropsychologist who works at Poole Hospital. And so she does a lot of lessons in depth about how to conduct neuropsychological tests. So we move on from there to aging and neurodegenerative disorders. So as you can guess from the title of this unit, we've now moved on into later life, and this unit is studying how does the brain typically age. So if the brain is aging in a healthy way, what happens? And we explore some of the debates like whether brain training and a healthy diet can actually help the brain age in a healthy way. And we also look at how the brain might age in an unhealthy and an atypical way. For example, if people develop a neurodegenerative disorder. This might be something like dementia, this might be Alzheimer's disease, Huntington's disease, Parkinson's disease, and so forth. These are the core units of this course. However, you'd also carry out several units that are shared with the other master's courses at Bournemouth University, and so I'll just run through those ones quickly as well. Advanced Research Methods is a unit where you'll be learning all about the methods that scientists use to conduct research, and these are methods that you can then use in your own research on this course. So you'd be, for example, learning about EEG, so that's electroencephalography. You would be learning about eye tracking, you would be learning about transcranial magnetic stimulation. Lots of different types of research methodologies that you can use in your own studies. We then have a unit called Key Transferable Skills, and Key Transferable Skills, or KTS, is kind of what it says on the tin. It's teaching you skills that are useful really depending wherever you go. We'll be teaching things that are very relevant if you want to go on for an academic career. So for example, we learn about how to write a grant, how to write a paper. We'd also have things that are more general for a career in any field. So for example, how to do a presentation in an appropriate way. We have we study data analysis, how to explore your data if you're a scientist. So we study a range of things there that are transferable to other fields, and they are kind of to take you on past your time at Bournemouth University. Our final unit is Advanced Statistics, and this unit is very important for conducting your own research because you need to know how to analyse your data. So this unit is really giving you a grounding in the statistical techniques that you can use to analyse your data. And the reason it happens in semester 2 is so that if you wish, you can attend some of the lessons in statistics that are happening in the undergraduate course in semester 1, if you so wish, and that way you can prepare a bit before you start your own statistics lessons in semester 2. So these are all your units, and these will occur spread throughout the academic year, as you can see here. So some of them are in semester 1, some of them are in semester 2. And these units will contain assignments, so these are assessments within each unit. And you'll be happy to know that this course doesn't involve any exams. This is a great thing, so this is very good. Mainly your assignments, they take many different forms. So you will have some essays to write. You'll have some assignments which we try very hard to mimic things that you might be doing in real life. So for example, you might be writing a case report on a patient, or you might be writing a grant proposal, so these could be assignments. For example, other assignments we'd have are doing a presentation, planning a study, planning how you do some statistics, and so these assignments will be spaced throughout the academic year so that hopefully they'll be well spaced apart so you've got time to complete them. So two other very important parts of this course are the project and the placement. So the project unit runs throughout the whole year. What will happen when you join the course is that you'll choose a supervisor and a project to carry out, and normally what happens is that the supervisors involved at the university will put forward a list of projects, and you can apply to then meet up with your supervisor, and that supervisor will be really your main your personal port of call, really, during the time that you're at Bournemouth University, because they'll then oversee your progress individually. As your program leader, I will be kind of overseeing everything, but your supervisor, that is your project supervisor, will be your personal person to go to. And the project is basically exactly what it says on the tin, a scientific project that you'll conduct under the supervision of your supervisor. So you could be doing a range of things. People have done some really exciting projects in the past. I've got a student right now who's working on interviewing adults with autism. Some people go into schools. Some people use neuroscientific techniques like EEG or transcranial magnetic stimulation. So people do a range of exciting things, and so this is a chance to really study something in depth and sink your teeth into it. The other thing I'd like to talk about on this course is placements. So the placement unit is an optional part of this course, so it doesn't have any credits associated with it, and you don't need to have a placement, but it's basically an opportunity for you to be placed in a professional environment for a period of time, and just to learn from experts in the field. So at present we have placements at hospitals, at neuro-rehabilitation centres, at schools, with clinical psychologists. We've got a range of placements, and people are doing a range of activities at placement, and these are a really exciting opportunity. So the way the placements are structured is, at the beginning of the year, I would be telling you a little bit about the placements, and then you'd have to submit an application for your chosen placements. Because we only have so many placements and it's quite competitive, we can't guarantee you a placement, but we do our best to try and accommodate everybody. So I've actually come to the end of my slides now, and I've forgotten to add a slide that I wanted to add. Basically, I want to just quickly tell you a little bit about the kind of careers that people go on to after completing clinical and developmental neuropsychology. So many people who take this course want to go into clinical psychology, and this course really lends itself towards that, because not only are you learning about a lot of clinical conditions in depth, you're also conducting a research project, which people like to see if you're applying to clinical psychology. They like to see that you can produce high quality academic work and that you can plan your own research. And you're also having the opportunity to go on placement in a real clinical or educational setting. So this course certainly can lead you into clinical psychology as a doctorate. However, this course has a much more broader foundation, really, which means that you can go in many other directions. You can go into a research career, because a lot of what we're doing would lend itself to that. You're doing a research project. You're also learning a lot of academic skills. So, for example, grant writing, paper writing, data analysis, presentations. So a career in academia as being a researcher is one that a lot of our students pursue. And other areas they can go, educational psychology, as we've studied neurodevelopmental conditions, and we might also choose an educational placement, and basically lots of other clinical directions or educational directions in schools or clinical settings that aren't clinical psychology or educational psychology, but are clinically based. So, for example, speech and language therapy, occupational therapy, any of those kinds of things would certainly be relevant to this course. So I'm going to stop now, and if you have any questions about this course, I would love you to email me. My email's just here, so it's rmosley@Bournemouth University, at bournemouth.ac.uk, and I would love to hear from you. Please email me your questions, and I hope that I might meet you sometime at an open day, and even better, hopefully I'll be able to welcome you on the course. So, brilliant. Signing off now, and thank you so much for listening.